I was gonna say I have a shield so you can hit me, but apparently that doesn't matter. We're fighting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in this level apparently. Hi. Hello, welcome. Welcome back to another Onkruid video. Welcome back to Cedric and Odious. Welcome to Swamp Shade. I have to remember how to play the game for a second because it feels like it's been a while since I've recorded, and it has been a while. I've been... Oops, okay. Frogs explode and leave behind poison clouds. Good to remember. I've been stuck. I've engulfed myself in a bubble these past couple of days. A bubble of just spending entire days together with fellow therapists, learning about a specific type of therapy, namely emotion-focused therapy. And it feels a bit like Narnia, if you will, you know? We get in there at 9:30 in the morning. Oops, I'm poisoned again. Okay. We spent an entire day together, learning all kinds of new techniques, testing them on each other, and then you head out again at 5 in the afternoon, and it just feels like, where did my day go? But additionally, it feels very valuable. It feels worthwhile. But it is quite tiring. I'll use the word tiring. I mean, it's exhausting, especially considering that it has been going on for 3 days today. Tomorrow is the 4th and final day, and it's not that I'm like looking forward to it being over, because it's really an amazing experience, but my body is like, hey buddy, are you ever gonna get some rest too, you know? And I do feel like today I finally found a little bit of that rest, at least evidenced in the fact that I finally feel okay. I finally feel like I can record for a second again, and that is a great sign in my opinion, or that I finally can make the time and have the mental space to record. Although today was actually one of the most difficult days yet. I had to play the client, or be the client rather, because you have to use your own material, your real own material in the end, in the final session, and it was quite intense. It brought me to some depths, some ideas that you sometimes rather avoid a bit, you know? And it's great to have these kinds of experiences, because we've been talking about this with our entire group for a while. It shows you that, like, wow, we expect a lot from our clients. Being in the client chair yourself, you realize all of a sudden, like, this can be exhausting, this can be draining, and this can be so confrontational with yourself and with things that you actually don't want to get confronted with, that you need to take into account. You need to pay attention to the impact things like a therapy session might have on a patient, or on a client rather, because you feel the impact yourself right now, and I'm feeling it. I'm kind of out of it again, you know? I dealt with it by doing some fun things with friends after the education day, but the topics that I talked about still linger. We worked a lot with the inner critic today, and as you guys know, or maybe not know, that inner critic can be quite present here in the Onkruid brain that you are made a part of sometimes. What was hitting me? Was that a giant tree spitting out poison bombs? That inner critic can be quite vocal, but it's not necessarily always an inner critic. It's more a pusher. It's more of a pushing voice, which is a different type of self-deprecating behavior. It's a different kind of self-destructive behavior that you can try and deal with in two-chair dialogue, a very interesting form of therapy. I need to get my head out of my ass and play the game. The pusher is there in a sense of like, hey Onkruid, are you doing enough? Are you spending every single second of your day in a productive manner? Are you creating enough YouTube videos, but also, are you also reading? And are you also doing your therapist education in the meantime? And are you making enough money? And are you working? And are you also checking in enough on your friends? And are you writing enough poetry? Are you reading any poetry at all? Did you finally get around to doing some more exercise? And it's a never-ending cycle of like, it's never good enough, you know? Whatever you are trying to do, it's never gonna fill the shoes that you want to fill, you know? It's never gonna be enough effort that you put into all the different domains in your life that you want to put effort into, because I know rationally that is because that is not humanly possible what I expect of me. I did not get poisoned there, come on, I was not in that poison cloud at all. I expect, or that critical part of me expects things of me that are just not humanly possible with the 24 hours we are given in a day. But of course it doesn't listen to reason, you know? If it listened to reason, I think it would be a lot chiller already, but that part is emotional, and that part feels like, hey, you're not doing enough, so that part will be vocal about that feeling. The main goal in the end is to kind of learn how to be around your inner critic, or be around that pusher, and realize its potential, realize its worth as well. And I think that's there already a little bit, because it is that pusher that allows me to get into music production, to get into DJing, to get into poetry, to get into being a therapist, to get into a whole lot of friendships and a whole lot of social situations, and to exercise in the meantime. But it's hard, you know? It's quite a large assortment. Is that the right word? Assortment, I think, yeah, of things to do, of things to try, of things to pay attention to and to spend time on. I don't want any more enemies right now, to be honest. I can't really deal with more enemies unless if I get this health potion. Come on, one more attack and it should be good. Drink it. That helps out a lot. I was gonna say I have a shield so you can hit me, but apparently that doesn't matter. We're fighting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in this level, apparently. What do you do in two-chair work, in a therapy technique that we try to do today? Well, you put both parts of yourself across from each other. So the part that is like, hey, I am trying my best. I'm doing a little poetry. I'm doing a little YouTube. I'm playing a little game. I'm reading a little book. I am trying. You are being quite severe, quite rough. I have so many domains that I want to spend my life on, and I'm trying my goddamn best to do so. And I want you to see that. I want you to recognize that you are being too critical, that you are being too pushy, and you are undervaluing, or you're not seeing enough of what I'm already doing. That's kind of what you want to do, but that's something I make it seem like, okay, yeah, and then you just do that, you know. But that is very, very, very difficult, really, and it spans multiple sessions most of the time if you really want to do that correctly. And of course today was still a bit of an introduction into the topic. I had encountered it before in my regular psychology education, but this was the first time that we really got a whole lot of time, like a lot of time slot to practice it, and I was a client. It felt great because it's an entire therapy session you get for free, but the severity and the hopelessness that my inner pusher entails, it's quite heavy to care for. It's quite heavy to carry for, I think, also the person that was my therapist in this session. And I told her, like, I'm kind of sorry. I feel like I was not the easiest client for you, but I was authentic. I was not going to just say what I thought I should say in the exercise. I was staying true to what I felt, and I felt at that point in time, like, even if I want mildness from my inner pusher, he's not going to give it to me. He's going to say, no, whatever you do, you are never going to fill the void created by the idea of, like, the time is passing and you can't do anything about it. You are never going to be able to spend your time wisely enough for me to shut up. And if that sounds heavy and existential and philosophical, well then, welcome into my brain. Enjoy your stay, but I wouldn't advise staying here because it's not always a fun place. I think more than finding any resolution or finding any healthy dialogue between the two, I think what helped me most today, or what was most exciting for me today, was just the possibility of sharing this, because these are the types of thoughts, the types of inner processes that I keep in my internal frame of mind most of the time. I don't share these types of thoughts, these types of self-critical ideas often, and it felt great to do so. A bit on the heavier side again, though, was the idea that when one of our professors, my favorite professor, was actually in the room with us and he helped out my fellow student a bit and was my therapist for a second, we came to the conclusion that there's also something there, like, I just want to feel. That it's not necessarily I want to experience meaning in my life, it's that I want to feel. That is actually the core of the story. That was stupid. And then when both him and my fellow therapy students were like, what do you mean you want to feel? Why? I was just like, I want to get the feeling that I am normal, because sometimes I get this feeling that I am too cognitive, that I am thinking too much, that I am never feeling, that I am never in touch with my bodily felt sense like I'm supposed to be as a therapist, like my fellow students seem to be way more than me, you know? Oh, I love this item. I need to keep it because I feel like I am struggling a bit in these fights. Maybe partially because I don't have an item, but also because I'm just not playing well. And because I'm focused on the commentary a bit, because it's about something personal and quite intense, to be honest. Like, what I'm sharing with you right now is what I was sharing with the people in my therapy education earlier today, and we have a very strong connection, of course. We have a strong bond because we know a lot of each other, but this is some intimate stuff. This is really what could be going on in my, in my own personal therapy session. I even used that quote that I was talking to you guys about. Like, sometimes the best way of doing something is to just do something. I even tried to use it, but to no avail. My inner critic was a bit too strong, you know? Is that really what you want to use as an excuse to not spend your time in a useful manner? Is that what the kind of gaslighting you want to do to yourself? And it sounds rough, but that is because it is. That is because that inner critic is rough. It's hard to deal with. Sometimes you don't want to deal with. Sometimes you want to just be like, okay, you're right. I don't spend my time in the most logical sense always when I'm, for example, watching YouTube videos. But you want to tell him like, shut the fuck up. I deserve a break. But if you tell him shut the fuck up, then he'll come back stronger. He'll come back to bite you in the ass 3 times over. So it's all about finding a healthy working relationship between the two of you. Between the experiencer, the part that just kind of wants to live and wants to feel, and the critic, the part that's telling you like you're not good enough, you're not doing it correctly. That is quite some intense subject matter, you know. That's literally what we're spending 4 days studying right now, so maybe I shouldn't go this in-depth into it because I might scare some people off. What else did we do? We just spent the evening drinking some wine, eating some cheese together, and then I also met up with some friends from my regular psychology education from a while back. That was a hard level, or I am just bad. Ooh, there we go. Upgrade Cedric to level 10. I'll go for another strength upgrade. I just want my hits to hit like trucks, you know? Like the song Toter Schmetterling. I wanted to just, from the first note, come into your brain like a straight avalanche. If you don't know that song, look it up right now. Toter Schmetterling. But fair warning, it's heavy. It's quite intense. Okay, I guess we're gonna need a couple of tries for this level as well, because I'm getting my ass handed to me. Especially if I just run into the poison, you know, that's not gonna help. Seems like there were 2 poison spouting trees on this level, so I need to deal with them first. Is there one in the top right here as well, or am I imagining things, or was it like a plant? There was another part of this level that was spewing poison bombs at me. I am quite sure of it. Yeah, just walk into the flies. Just do it twice in a row. The song's so nice, you play it twice, 3 times even. Man, that must really be a banger. It's crazy how much connection it breeds to do these types of things together, like me and my therapist education buddies. We are showcasing our soul to each other, you know? We're being our most vulnerable. I was talking about this after that with my other friends that are not in my therapy education. Like, you can't imagine what it's like if you're not in a therapist education yourself. We know things of each other that no other persons in our life will know, you know? You tell each other things that are complete secrets otherwise, and it's such an intimate climate that you create together. You can't imagine it, you can't fathom it. It's so weird, it's so unique, and it's so beautiful as well. I think this is the final level before the boss, and it's quite welcome because this zone has been throwing me for a loop a little bit. I wish all levels would do it like that and just dart off the edge. I'm still reading, or I am reading, god damn it, The Pigeon right now. A novel by Patrick Suskind, who also wrote The Perfume. And it's still interesting. I'm 3/4 of the way through and there's a lot of interesting themes in there. Paranoia. Kind of loathing for a homeless person. Wishing you could be as happy as him with as little as him. And I think that's also interesting. Because sometimes I think in our Western society and our capitalist society, we are so engulfed with what we don't have that this is so cliche, but that we don't realize what we do have, you know? And that's beautifully illustrated in the book by the person, Jonathan, the main protagonist, telling us like, you know, when I saw that guy shitting on the streets of Paris in between 2 cars, just in plain sight of everybody passing through here, I realized I have a communal toilet in my apartment complex, but that is such a luxury. That makes me feel so much more human than this guy must feel. He must really feel like he is a savage, you know? He is shitting in between cars in the middle of the street. No privacy, no decency, but also just because he has no chance. He has no opportunity to be private or decent. He can't use any public restrooms because he's a homeless person. He will get shunned away from those places. And I think that's interesting. That's interesting. The idea of like something that we take for granted might be what separates us from a person living a very, very poor life. That is a big, big frog. A toad lord? I know I should not be surprised in a place like this, but you are absolutely hideous. Wart lord. A mammal kind. Some kind of rat? A rat? No, a human. You wildling beast. Ah, yes. Humans. Used to be many, now few. Too soft for swamp. Mammals taste all same to me. You mean to tell me that humans used to live in this godforsaken place? Enough talk. I won't eat. Enough talk. You won't eat. Okay, maybe if you open up with that giant spear attack straight to my brain 3 times in a row and you just kill me without me doing anything about it, then maybe it is time for eat. He jumps away and then he has a giant tongue attack, and then in general he is just using his spear to thrust it forward. That was attempt number 0.5. That was not a real attempt. I was kind of just getting to know the location a bit, getting to know the area. Come on, dash at me. And then im. 2 quick attacks. Dash at me again. Ooh. Ooh. That's beautiful. It feels right now like this boss is easy as my ass on a Tuesday. Okay, never mind. He has another attack. Okay, he's raping me. He's absolutely destroying me. I have no shot of beating this guy ever. Jump. No tongue after that type of jump. 1, 2. He's almost dead already. The main gist of this fight, or why it is so easy, is the idea that with his dash, he is so vulnerable from the back for a while. I knew I had to go in for that one attack. That was only 2 attempts, or actually only 1.5 attempts in my opinion. That was the easiest boss we have faced so far, paradoxically enough. What voice did I give this guy again? Oh, hey, Cedric. What are you two doing? This swamp god is in the mood for a crab boil. Would you care to join us? We in Carolina now. Carolina? Louisiana. Louisiana shrimp. Louisiana, I think. This place smells like old garbage. I just want to get the hell out of here. I don't blame you. Dealing with that warlord fellow would ruin my appetite as well. That reminds me, I have to get rid of his head, banish it to the Shadow Realm. Nice. Odious. How much longer will I be in your service? I think like 3 more levels, bro. I have no love for these rulers, but I grow tired of fighting. We have been over this. You do not have a choice. Easy enough. Conversation over. It's very true, we do not have a choice. Swamp Shade threw us for a loop a bit, but in its levels, not in its boss. Its boss was perfectly doable, perfectly easy. We are over the halfway point. We've completed Swamp Shade, and next episode we will get into the north. Looks kind of icy and wintry. Winter might be coming, you know. Thanks, Sean Bean. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.